Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and as you know, I tend to talk about different stories that appear in the news. I give my opinion, I do a little research, and then I share with you what I've discovered. Today, I wanted to talk about the Motability scheme and them removing luxury cars. And there's been a lot of controversy about it because the disabled person is saying that their choice is being taken away. So it's taken away their independence and they're just not happy. The Motability scheme are saying it's got to do with fairness, it's got to do with cost cutting, that kind of thing. But what I'll do is I'll share with you my notes and hopefully we'll come to a common ground where we'll see whether or not it's fair. Okay, so should luxury cars be removed from the disabled people's choice, and is this discrimination or classism? Rachel Reeves, ahead of the budget, indicated an indication to axe luxury cars from the Motability scheme and focus on a shift towards British built vehicles as a part of broader efforts to reduce public spending or perceived taxpayer burden. On 24th of November 2025, the Motability operations announced from now on cars from premium manufacturers, including BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Lexus and Alfa Romeo, to name a few, would be removed from the list of eligible vehicles for new leases under the Motability scheme. In addition, all coupe and convertible body styles are now excluded from the scheme. I bought a Smart 44 Motability car, which shares engineering with Mercedes, and I wondered if it would be included, but nah. My Smart 44 is marketed as a mid-range compact premium brand, not luxury. And it's funny because the car I got before this one was a Motability car. It was a Toyota Yaris. And for some reason, I didn't understand the concept behind it. I just thought they were cars for the disabled. Well, in fact, they are. But I couldn't understand why they were normal because I thought that a Motability car would have to be adjusted. But I guess it all depends on the disability. Anyway, the official rationale behind this decision is that the scheme is refocusing on vehicles that meet disabled people's needs and represent value and purpose, emphasizing reliability, practicality, affordability to run, and suitability for every mobility rather than luxury. As part of the change, there is also a longer-term ambition by 2035. Half of all vehicles leased under Motability should be British built, a shift towards supporting UK manufacturing and domestic industry. Sources for what I've just read was Motor Clarity, Motability, Fleet News, Autocar, Motability Operation News and The Guardian. So how does Motability work? Disabled people exchange certain benefits, e.g. personal independence payment, what they call PIP, or higher rate mobility component of disability living allowance for a car lease, scooter, or powered wheelchair. Eligible claimants don't pay up front for the car like a normal purchase. They usually pay a personal contribution if they want a higher end model. After choosing the car of their choice, Motability provides all-inclusive leases, which means when the eligible claimant gets the car through the scheme, they usually don't worry about hand controls, swivel seats, wheelchair access, or other adaptations. Motability handles all of that. Nor do they need to worry about insurance, servicing or maintenance, breakdown cover, or road tax. It's all covered under the Motability scheme. And everything is included in a predictable monthly payment, which is a part of why it's cheaper than buying a car outright. The Motability concept is about being able to participate fully in society. Some may argue that for the rich, For the rich disabled person to fully participate in society and feel included, a premium car is a necessity, not a luxury. Without one, they might feel embarrassed and they might feel excluded. A luxury car usually requires a large personal contribution, which is why Motability removed them from the standard approved list. Smaller practical cars like Peugeot, Skoda, Kia or Toyota are included in the monthly allowances. Just in case you're wondering, Motability cars aren't given willy-nilly. The process is structured. You need to be eligible, meaning you need a qualifying disability benefit with a mobility component. You have a choice within limits. You select from cars approved by Motability. Standard trims are included. Higher trims need a personal contribution. The lease agreement is usually 3 years, inclusive of insurance, servicing and breakdown cover. And cars are reviewed yearly. Those cars that become too expensive, difficult to insure, they come under scrutiny, which is why luxury cars like Mercedes, Lexus, BMW, Audi, etc. are considered unsuitable and are no longer in the scheme, although many will remain available on the scheme, even though it is owned by the BMW Group. That is because it is not considered the premium brand part of the BMW portfolio. Some disabled people claim that the decision is discriminatory. However, the official reason for the decision is rising purchase prices, increased insurance and repair costs, supply chain shortages, and some sporty, low-seat cars were deemed impractical. Apparently, it's not about judging taste or lifestyle, but about keeping the scheme viable for everyone now and in the future. Some people with a disability argue that removing premium brands is a form of classism because disabled people lose choice that non-disabled people never lose. Some feel the scheme is saying you can't drive a luxury car, which touches on dignity and independence. But Motability argues that the decision is purely financial and practical. It's about the rising costs of insurance, not social judgment, which sounds to me like a feasible claim since Motabilities are the ones that are paying for the cars. If the disabled person wants a luxury car, there's nothing stopping them from having one. They just won't be able to get it through the Motability scheme. I don't think this is classism, but some disabled people who value those cars for comfort, safety and personal preference do. When you think that the purpose of a car is to drive you from A to B, there are alternative choices that can give you the feel-good factor like Peugeot 3008, Skoda Superb, Kodiaq, Toyota RAV4, electrical vehicles like Kia, EV6, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Vauxhall Mokka. Critics see premium cars as a luxury rather than a necessity, raising questions about the fairness of subsidising these vehicles. Because Motability isn't about luxury, it's about mobility, independence and inclusion, which allows disabled people to participate in daily life. Cars are selected for safety, reliability, affordability and suitability. So the scheme balances individual choice with accessibility and long-term sustainability. Even if some drivers miss premium brands, the scheme's core mission is to keep people moving and independent. So in a nutshell, Motability cars are cheaper because they bundle insurance, servicing and maintenance. Cars are awarded based on eligibility, need and suitability. Premium brands were removed to keep the scheme sustainable. The scheme prioritises independence, safety and fairness, not luxury. And while the change feels frustrating for drivers, it could be that if disabled people have a valid reason to protest, it might help shape the scheme for the future. So what I'm more or less saying is that there is a way that you can actually feedback your concerns, make sure your voice is heard, and hopefully, because it's reviewed every year, it's not written in stone, there's an option for the luxury cars to be put back on the market, especially if they get cheaper in the future. You know, sometimes these cars do get cheaper, so there's always hope. But let me have your thoughts on this one, okay? And I guess that's all I've got to say for now. Bye bye.